Hi everybody, welcome to Shiver Speaks. Today we are going to talk about really strange TV shows and movies, all that mix absurdity with death. So, as a kid, I always watched really strange shows, Psychic Kids, Paranormal State, A Haunting, all of those more spooky shows. But none of them really measured up to Urban Legends and A Thousand Ways to Die. For anybody who's, I think, a real true horror fan, you've all heard about A Thousand Ways to Die. This is a staple TV show. So, A Thousand Ways to Die, we'll start with that, was aired from 2008 to 2012 on Spike TV. What really blew my mind, not really comprehending it as a kid, is that all of these are true deaths. So, they're elaborated for TV and certainly exaggerated in their details, but these are all absurd ways that people have actually died. So all of the stories that you're hearing through all of their seasons, these are all real, true stories of death. So they started out on Spike TV. There are about 4 to 5 deaths per episode. And the most watched episode is from season 1, episode 9. There's a specific death in there that has the most streams on YouTube. It is Ikiban, and this is where a Japanese couple has saved themselves for marriage. And upon making love for the first time on their wedding night, both of them die of a heart attack. So, gives you an idea of sort of what we're dealing with this TV show. But also season 1, episode 1, the very first kill, the very first murder scene on TV is called Semi-Charmed. It is about a semi-truck running over somebody and cutting them in half. And it's kind of interesting because you have a lot of the scientists on the show who are saying if this is even probable, if this would happen again. So you do get a little bit of that factual side, but it is an interesting show to watch. So watch at your discretion. But that is A Thousand Ways to Die. They attempted to do a spin-off show called A Thousand Ways to Lie, where they tracked the most absurd lies ever told, but that only aired for 1 season in 2013, also on Spike TV, now owned by Paramount. So you can watch A Thousand Ways to Die anywhere that you really need to. It is free on Pluto TV right now. So the other TV show to mention and to talk about is Urban Legends. I was a fiend for Urban Legends as a kid. Absolutely loved this show. And this aired right around the same time. So it was 2007 to 2011. They do have 4 seasons, and this is now free to watch on Tubi. But the actual game that everybody plays for team building is 2 truths and a lie. This is 2 lies and a truth. So every episode is talking about more modern urban legends. So like if you flash your headlights at somebody, then they're going to turn around and kill you. If you go somewhere overnight overseas, then your kidneys will be harvested. Different urban legends like that. It's more of like the old wives' tales rather than urban legends. But they are all the ones that are true are also true stories. These are things that have actually happened to real people. So episode 1, again, out of the gate with a bang, we are talking about 3 stories. 1 is a crack addict that gets shot in the chest by the cop, goes to the bathroom and coughs up the bullet. Is that true or a lie? The second one is a man goes to Rio de Janeiro, wakes up in the morning and has no kidney. That's number 2. And number 3 is if you flash your headlights, somebody turns around and follows this person. So while we're watching the show, they have characters, they have people, they have whole storylines built out. But we're trying to figure out what's true, what's a lie. And for that episode in particular, the Rio de Janeiro one was fake. The flashing headlights one was fake. The man who was addicted to crack, who got shot in the chest, actually did cough up a bullet. So they actually then talk about the real people, how this has happened, how this could happen, and what the probability of it is going on from here on out. So again, it's a very good perspective of like a funny, entertaining show, but like wow, these things have actually happened to people. So that is Urban Legends, A Thousand Ways to Die. Urban Legends also attempted to do a spin-off TV show where it was Urban Legends Mostly True, and they just had a whole bunch of true stories that they just really elaborated. That only lasted for one season as well, and that is now streaming on YouTube. So, in terms of movies, and I apologize too, still stuffy, but in terms of TV shows, those are the two I wanted to mention. In terms of movies, really following the same pattern is Faces of Death. I know I've talked about Faces of Death before. I'm blown away by it, that it even exists. So Faces of Death came out in 1978. This is a TV show, or a movie that shows real life autopsies, real life deaths, real accidents on tape. And this was shown in movie theaters back in the day. This is now on YouTube for free. And there are 9 of these movies. So there are 9 Faces of Deaths where you could see real life deaths, real life autopsies, real life, all of these things just on camera for your enjoyment. The thing that I don't like about Faces of Death as compared to the more fun TV shows is the TV shows will show you like, this is how probable this is how this would actually happen, this is how this would actually work. Whereas Faces of Death is more just like, this is playing out in front of you, you're seeing that's going to happen. There's no talk on if this is even possible to do again. So there's more of a seriousness, I think, to Faces of Death. But there are 9 of these movies. They are all real, except for the last one, which was in 1999, called Fact or Fiction. So that was similar to what we're kind of talking about of what is real, what is not. Is this probable? Is this real? Is this true? Or is this just a Hollywood stunt, basically? But the very first one had a budget of $450,000. To this day, it has made $35 million, which, take that as you will. So, the other one to mention, more on the comedic side, is ABCs of Death. So, ABCs of Death came out in 2012. It's basically free to watch everywhere. It's all over the place. I know back in the day, I watched this on Netflix and thought that it was just going to be a horror movie. I wouldn't really even call it a horror movie. It's more of a kind of like a black satire or black comedy. But they have given 26 different filmmakers short stories and a letter of the alphabet and said, pick a random death from these letters and make a story of it. So they go from A to Z. And there's an ABCs of Death too that is not nearly as popular, but it follows the exact same pattern. So it's 26 different directors all given a letter of the alphabet and said, have fun and make up some wacky story on how somebody dies with this thing. So I don't remember per se what all of the letters are, but you know, A could have been apple, and it's somebody who you would think just would choke on an apple, but really it's like somebody put an apple in a tennis ball like shoot machine and somebody got shot in the face with an apple. Like, absurdity in that level. So there is that level of comedy with this movie, but it is still tough to watch. It is very gory. It is, I mean, just take the context of matter and run with it. So that is it for our list today. So those are the most entertaining, interesting, macabre stories of death seen on our TVs. Let me know your thoughts. If you watched these shows back in the day, let me know how that impacts you now. Let me know what your thoughts are on these movies as well. And as always, thanks for listening, and I will see you next week.